You're a business owner, and as a consequence, there are so many things you can be spending your time on. The list is almost endless. What I'm going to give you today is a concept, is some clarity on the best things to spend your time on. These are the things you should spend the majority of your time on if you're a business owner. Okay? And we're going to, in particular, focus on what I'll call leveraged time. But I'll come back to what that means in a minute. By way of background, what are you doing as a business owner? You're building a great business. You're building a successful business. It's a business which works without you. Must be. I mean, it might not be yet, but that's what it has to be when it's successful. It can't depend on you. And it's a business which produces all the income that you want to lead your ideal life. So that's the business we're aiming for. What that means is that you've actually got to go about the job of building that business, not just doing the business, not just doing the work. You've actually got to be building the business. We've all heard the concept, on your business, not in your business, and so on. That's sort of what we're talking about. If you look at someone like Henry Ford, pretty famous guy, built a big company, motor car company. Henry Ford didn't make money by selling cars, by making cars and selling cars. He made money by systematizing how to make and sell cars. Bill Gates, right at the beginning, he wrote some software and sold it. But as a rule, put it this way, he didn't get very wealthy by writing software and selling it. He got very wealthy by creating a system whereby his software was created, their software, I should say, was created and sold all over the world. So creating that business is at the heart of what we're talking about today, because the more time you spend on things that are going to do that, rather than just solve today's problem, deal with today's thing that popped up, the more time you spend on things that are going to actually build that business that works without you and produces all the income you want, the sooner you're going to get there. So let's talk about leverage time. And to take the most, this is the most simplistic approach in a sense, or certainly most simplistic definition. Leveraged activities are those which you do once and you or your business get benefit from forever, or at least for a very long time. So these are things that you design once, build once, do once, implement once, and they keep paying off into the future. So I'm going to give you 5 examples of the types of things you could be doing. And these are the sorts of things that, frankly, you should be spending plenty of time on if you're the owner of the business. So an obvious one, writing a new system. So creating a process, documenting that process, codifying that process that runs some aspect of the business. You codify it once, you write that process once, you document it once, and then your team implements that process again and again and again forever and ever and ever, or at least for a very long time. Fantastic. You did it once, pays off for years to come. Another example, you write a good marketing campaign, design a good marketing campaign. You spend a little bit of time designing it, you test it, you measure the results, you realize, this is good. I like this. This gave us a good return. Excellent. You've documented it. You've codified it. You've built it already. You've designed it. You've used it. Now the team just keeps implementing that campaign every week for a long time, every month for a long time, depending on what sort of campaign it is. You did it once, the business benefits for a long time. A couple of the ones I'll recommend relate to your people. Any time you spent recruiting really great people. Now, that could just be in doing interviews, accepting applications, choosing someone, selecting someone. That's valuable. Sometimes it's more proactive, going out there and identifying who is that really talented person in your industry that you'd like to get into your business, and then approaching them and spending time with them. There have been some incredible examples of this. I heard a person moved. There was somebody they were targeting in Seattle to work for the company. It was, I think that's right. I think actually it's the Ford Motor Company. They wanted to get Alan Mulally as their next CEO to turn it around. And at the time he was running Boeing in Seattle. And so their head of HR for Ford actually moved to Seattle to do everything they could to build that relationship and win him over. And sure enough, he came across and it saved Ford. But so time spent recruiting great people is incredibly valuable. You do it once, you recruit that person once, you get value from them for a long time to come. Similarly, time spent training and developing your team. is highly valuable. Sometimes it's just time spent at home thinking about them. How could that person perform better? In what way could that person develop and improve? What feedback could I give them that might help them? What training should I deliver to them? Any aspect of improving your people's performance is valuable. You do that training once, get value for a long time, as long as that person's working there. In some cases, of course, it's do the training once and then it's systematized as well. Somebody else does it again and again in future. So you get that double leverage effect. These are great examples, things you should be doing. The last one, which is in a sense a larger one, but it's sometimes the most valuable. This is it's planning and strategy. They're two different things. Now, planning, if it comes down to making sure you invest enough time planning the week ahead to make the week effective, that's time well spent. But what I'm probably thinking more of is strategy, defining at the very heart of your business. Who is it you're going to solve what problem for? What are the capabilities you have to build in your business? Now, how to design strategy is certainly not the purpose of this quick lesson, but there are lots of books and lots of ways you can look at it. But spending time designing that most fundamental element, the core assets in your business. I mean, my strategy book focuses on core asset design. Time spent designing a more valuable core asset is probably per hour the most valuable time you can spend in any business. So spending time on the strategy, on the long-term planning. It does take time. It takes thinking, takes analysis. But when you get it right, when you get a good outcome, a good answer, it's incredibly valuable. It drives the whole business plan and indeed drives the value of your business. So they're just 5 examples. Probably the message I want to focus first on, though, is just start measuring how much of your week is spent doing leveraged activities, doing those things that you do once and you get value from for a very long time to come. And when you get that above 50%, you and your business are going to be absolutely flying. Enjoy it. All the best.